And welcome from Quicken Loans Arena in downtown Cleveland, Ohio. It's an American Conference matchup between the Cleveland Gladiators and the visiting Jacksonville Sharks. Hi everybody, Doug Plagans here with you this evening. The Gladiators coming in off a 56-55 overtime win on the road over Orlando last week. They've won back-to-back games, and they're looking for a Florida sweep. They've knocked off Tampa Bay and Orlando the last two. Looking for a win against a Jacksonville team tonight that comes in with a 1-5 record that fell 63-28 in Tampa in their last game 1 week ago. But two teams with some very talented offenses, and, well, a big reason for the offense on each side. A couple of receivers putting up some nice numbers. Colin Taylor of the Gladiators, last three games, 32 catches, 365 yards, averaging 11.4 per catch, and 10 touchdowns receiving in his last three games to go along with another one on defense for the Jacksonville Sharks. One of the top receivers in the Arena Football League every season is Tiger Jones out of Louisville. 58 receptions, 857 yards, leads the Arena Football League. 15 touchdowns and an average of 14.8 yards per catch. So those are two of the big receivers in this one. Shane Austin, the Gladiators, 8 touchdown passes last time out. Tommy Grady, the quarterback for Jacksonville, a former MVP. So not only some of the best receivers showcased here tonight, but some of the best quarterbacks in the AFL as well. Let's go downstairs to Kenny Rhoda.
Thanks, Doug. I'm here with Steve Tunn, head coach of the Cleveland Gladiators. Steve, you win your first two, you lose your next two, then you win the last two. What's been the key to turning it around?
You know, I think a couple things. I mean, we had two real tough games there, probably Arizona and Philly, the two best teams in our league. So, you know, it was tough games there. We came back the last 2 weeks, beat a good Tampa team and a good Orlando team on the road. You know, we're fighting through some injuries still, trying to get a lot of guys back. But I think the biggest thing is the guys keep fighting and we finish the plays, especially in the fourth quarter.
The Sharks are winless on the road this year. What do you need to do to make sure they don't get their first road win tonight and for you guys to get win number 3 in a row?
You know, we have to try to keep the lead against them. They're loaded with talent. Going into this year, they got, you know, a lot of all-arena type guys, and they just haven't put it together yet. So if we can jump on them, keep that lead against them, and keep that doubt in their minds.
Coach, thanks for the time. Best of luck tonight.
All right, thanks.
Doug, back up to you.
Thanks very much, Kenny. And a big one here tonight, Gladiators and the Jacksonville Sharks going head-to-head. Gladiators 4-2 on the season. Jacksonville, again, just 1-5, and they're looking to make up some ground in a hurry. Taking a look at who's in, who's out tonight for the Gladiators. NovaCare inactive report. You won't hear Dominic Jones, Corey Payne, Terrence Sanders, A.J. Holderman, Mike Alston, Jesse Peterson, Chad Schofield, Andre Thurman, Tyrone Collins, Randy Collin, Corey Howard, David Lewis, all out for the Gladiators tonight. Those are the inactives this evening, as the Gladiators have been hampered by some injuries in certain aspects lately. Now, Kenny, going into this one tonight, an interesting subplot. Tommy Grady, the quarterback for Jacksonville, a former MVP in the Arena League. He was an MVP playing for Gladiators assistant head coach and defensive coordinator Ron James. So there's a little matchup between the Gladiators defensive coordinator and his old quarterback.
I asked Coach James about that and if he had maybe any inside information he could use to his advantage here tonight. He said, hey, we've got to put pressure on him, make him get outside the pocket. He's not a running quarterback. He doesn't like to get outside the pocket. He likes to get into a rhythm inside the pocket and throw from there. So the key, putting pressure on Grady tonight.
Tommy Grady hasn't been hit a lot this season. He's also 6 feet 7 inches tall, so he can see over the line pretty well. May not be a running quarterback, but has pretty good vision. Always seems to put up pretty big numbers in the Arena Football League season after season. So the Gladiators and Jacksonville here tonight in what is a big one. The Gladiators trying to keep pace with the 7-0 Philadelphia Soul in the East Division. Mentioned Jacksonville trying to get their season turned around in a hurry. And they're an interesting case. They lost each of their first 2 games by 1 point each. So Jacksonville very easily could have a much different record than the 1-5 one they bring to the table. You heard Gladiators head coach Steve Tunn as well talking about the fact that Jacksonville does have a lot of all-arena players on its roster. Series history, last season the Gladiators won 62-20 over Jacksonville. That was the second to last week of last season. So the Gladiators won the last time these two teams met. Time to open up another chapter here tonight. The Q ready to kick this one away is Julian Roush for Jacksonville. Down to our left, down to our right to return for the Cleveland Gladiators is Amari Jackson. Jackson's had a couple of big games in a row, and he's down there as the primary return man for the Gladiators here. He handled those responsibilities a week ago down in Orlando and did a pretty nice job with it. Julian Roush, the kicker for the Jacksonville Sharks down to our left, and we're underway here at the Q. In black, the Gladiators, and here's Amari Jackson bringing it out of his own end zone, makes a move, had some open field, tripped up around the 10, and then taken down around the 11-yard line. Former Gladiator Larachi Jackson in there on the stop. Gladiators in their black jerseys, black pants, red trim, Jacksonville wearing white. Here tonight, time of the Subway starting lineups as we play 12 seconds here in this one. The Gladiators offense comes onto the field, led by the quarterback Shane Austin, the offensive line, C.J. Cobb, Jason Palmgren, Kit O'Brien. The rest of the offense, the fullback P.K. Manley. The wide receivers are Amari Jackson, Dominic Goodman, and Colin Taylor. We'll get to the Jacksonville defense here in just a moment. First down and 10. We've gone 35 seconds in this one. Shane Austin over the middle for Colin Taylor, off his fingertips, incomplete. Second down and 10. Gladiators back on their own 12, going right to left. Coming up here in just a moment. Jacksonville defense as we continue the Subway starting lineups. The MAC linebackers, Pierre Turner, the defensive line, Joe Sykes, Jerry Turner, Nicholas Jean-Baptiste. And then, as far as the defensive backfield, former Gladiator Alvin Ray Jackson, the Jack linebacker, the defensive back Xavier Brewer, Terrence Smith, and Greg Reed. Colin Taylor in motion, 2nd and 10, facing the Gladiators here. Two receivers left side. Austin drops back, throws over the middle, and an outstretched Colin Taylor reached for it, couldn't reel it in, and immediately 3rd down and 10, facing the Gladiators. This season, the Gladiators 47.4% on 3rd down. Austin had Taylor over the middle, little high on it. Taylor got an outstretched right hand on the ball, but just not enough to reel it in. So 2 passes to Colin Taylor on the first 2 plays from scrimmage. Shane Austin, though, 0 for 2 throwing the ball. 13:23 left here in the first. No score. Gladiators and Jacksonville. Shane Austin comes in with 37 touchdown passes in 6 games. 3rd and 10, 3 receivers right side. Austin throws. He's hit as he throws up to pick it off and bring it back along for Jacksonville. Up the right side and to the boards before being forced out of bounds is Greg Reed, the defensive back out of Florida State. And the Gladiators' first drive does not end the way they wanted it to. Austin 0 for 3 throwing the ball on that opening drive. He went deep on the most recent throw, but Greg Reed got in there to cut it off. Joe Sykes, who's one of the best defensive linemen maybe in arena football history, got a hand in on Shane Austin, disrupted the throw, and back the other way came Reed with the interception. Kenny Rhoda.
Yeah, Doug, in talking to Coach Tunn before the game, one of the things he said that will be key offensively is containing Joe Sykes, and he got a hand in on that play and forced the interception, so that's something to keep an eye on all game long.
He is one of the best defensive linemen in the AFL, and now Tommy Grady on 1st and 10, a handoff to Derek Ross, and the man they affectionately call the boss lugs it down into the red zone, down to about the 5-yard line, so 12:23 left in the first. Jacksonville looking to score here as they've gone into the red zone. Offense for Jacksonville, Tommy Grady out of Utah is the quarterback. Ray McNeil, Wayne Tribu, and Mo Ruffins are the offensive linemen. The skill position players rounding those out, Derek Ross, the fullback. The receivers are Tiger Jones, Joe Hills, and Preche Rodriguez. 1st and goal from the 4 for the Jacksonville Sharks. 2 receivers right side. Grady, a handoff to Ross. He'll plunge ahead for about 2. Not much more than that. And now time to look at the Gladiators defense. With 11:50 to go here in the first, and the game remaining scoreless. Jacksonville creeping up on the end zone. Defensively for the Gladiators, the MAC linebacker Tim Cheatwood, the D-line, Jeremy Richardson, Anthony DeGreat, Willie McGinnis. Subway starting lineups, defensive backfield, Donnie Fletcher, the Jack linebacker. The defensive backs are Joe Finnessy, Fred Shaw, and Justin Hanna getting the nod tonight. As it's 2nd down and goal from the 3, Grady looks over the middle off the fingertips of the intended man, Wayne Tribu. He was that eligible tight end coming off the line there. Incomplete for him, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and goal from the 3-yard line for the Jacksonville Sharks, who have the ball as a result of an interception thrown by Shane Austin on the Gladiators' first drive. So Jacksonville got the first defensive stop of the game. Gladiators trying to cancel this thing out and keep Jacksonville from putting it in the end zone here. 3rd and goal from the 3. 3 receivers on the left. Tiger Jones in motion. Grady takes a look left, throws, completed, and Leaning ahead is Joe Hills, but it doesn't look like he got there. So Joe Hills, a pickup of about 2, and that's going to put the Jacksonville Sharks about as close to the goal line as you can get. 4th and goal. Gladiators looking for a goal line stand. Derek Ross, the fullback for Jacksonville, is the Arena Football League's all-time leading rusher. You have to wonder, do they hand it to him here? He's the one man in the backfield. 2 receivers right side. Riche Rodriguez is the motion man. And it's a handoff to Ross, and I think they got him. They stopped him and pushed him back. And the Gladiators come up with a goal line stand, and Joe Fennessy was in there to help lead the charge along with Willie McGinnis. A huge defensive play for the Gladiators. A goal line stand, and the Gladiators will take over deep on their own end of the field. 9:57 to go in the first, no score. Neither team scoring on their opening drive. Step aside, the Gladiators will have the ball right here on the Gladiators Football Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by the Center for Orthopedics, your personal connection to advanced care. By Subway, the crunch is back. Get your Fritos Chicken Enchilada Sub, now at Subway. By University Hospital's Elyria Medical Center. By ABC Equipment Rental, your Cleveland home for Kubota construction equipment. By NovaCare, the exclusive and official sports rehabilitation provider of the Cleveland Gladiators. And by Unique Home Solutions, the presenting partner of your Cleveland Gladiators. Welcome back to the Q. 9:50 to go here in the first. No score. Gladiators in Jacksonville. The Gladiators 1st and 10 back on their own 1. Neither team has scored after 1 possession each. And now Amari Jackson breaks a tackle on a swing pass, cuts out toward midfield to the 20, to midfield to the 20 of Jacksonville before being run down and forced into the sideboards on the far side of the field by Greg Reed. 9:29 left here in the first. No score between the Gladiators and the Jacksonville Sharks, but the Gladiators getting their biggest offensive play of the game, their first completion of the game so far after Shane Austin was 0 for 3 on the first drive, 1 for 1 on this drive, and now 1st and 10 down at the 13-yard line of Jacksonville as the Gladiators go right to left across your dial. 2 receivers on the left side. Jackson in motion. He'll join Goodman and Taylor over on that left side. Austin on first down. Looks. End zone. And it's overthrown for Jackson. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10 coming. Gladiators at the 13-yard line of the Jacksonville Sharks. So the Gladiators with a good start to this drive. Kenny Rhoda, how is it down there?
You know what? The defense gave him a huge lift coming off the field there with Boss. They hold him to a loss, don't get in the end zone. The offense comes out, gets a big play, get it out of the danger zone now with an opportunity to score and take the lead here, Doug.
That first Jacksonville drive was 5 plays, 13 yards total. They ran it 3 times with Derek Ross, and they ended up stopping him on the goal line to the Gladiators. So now 2nd and 10 from the Jacksonville 13. Austin throws, end zone, wide open, touchdown, Dominic Goodman. And the Gladiators strike first. Well, there was no drop in that one for Dominic Goodman. He was about as open as you can be on the near side of the end zone. Nobody around him, and he hauls in the game's first touchdown. Goodman, a very reliable receiver, 3 touchdown catches last week. Starts things off with another one here tonight. So 6-0 Gladiators, 7:45 to go here in the opening quarter. And on for the extra point try is Adrian Trevino. Chris Deeker is the holder. The snap, Deeker gets it down, kick from Trevino, up and through. 7-0 Gladiators, 7:32 to go here in the opening quarter. The Gladiators, have not scoring on the first drive, they score on their next opportunity. They lead 7-0. 7-0 Gladiators. Kenny Rhoda is joined by the man who owns the game's first touchdown, Dominic Goodman.
That's right, his 16th touchdown grab of the year. Dominic, how'd you get so open on that play?
Pretty much it was, we ran a little corner route, and quarterback read it right, reading out the field corner. If he's sitting on a check down, he throw it over top, and that's what Shane did.
How big was that defensive stop there after you guys threw the interception on the first possession?
That was real big, because knowing they got ball at half, we needed to score first, so that was real big. Defense stepped up.
All right, thanks, Goody. Doug, back up to you.
Thanks very much, Kenny. And a good point made right there. When you're the team that is going to get the ball at the half, if you can take that possession battle, it's almost like taking a 2-score lead. The way the Arena Football League momentum shifts tend to happen. Now here's a kickoff from Adrian Trevino down to our left. It's hauled in by Larachi Jackson. Out he comes from the end zone. The former Gladiator out to about the 13-yard line before he's ultimately tripped up and brought down by the defender getting in there for the Gladiators, Colby Way. 7:22 left here in the opening quarter, 7-0. It's the Gladiators out in front, folks. Every Gladiators home game offers amazing drink specials at the Q. Get select draft beers for only $2 and Pepsis for only $1 at the game. For tickets, 216-420-2222. Visit clevelandgladiators.com or any Northern Ohio discount drug mart. Gladiators football is presented by Unique Home Solutions. So 7:22 left here in the opening quarter. 7-0 Gladiators on top of the Sharks. The officials tonight, Bradley Brunet, the referee. Mike Moore, the umpire. Matt Kukar, the head linesman. Running through the rest of the officials. We'll get to those here in just a moment as Tommy Grady takes over 1st and 10 from around midfield, then throws one out of bounds and into the Gladiators bench. So 2nd down and 10 coming. Jacksonville out at their own 24-yard line, still looking to get things going in the passing game. The line judge is Tim McGowan and the back judge is Jim Corpora. 6:45 to go here in the opening quarter. Shane Austin so far, 2 of 6, 49 yards, an interception and a touchdown pass. 6:38 to go here in the first quarter. 7-0 Gladiators on a touchdown pass from Austin to Goodman. 2 receivers left side. Preche Rodriguez in motion for Jacksonville. Grady drops back, throws long. Rodriguez end zone, cradles it, and he has it. Touchdown Jacksonville, and now they'll have an opportunity to tie the game. Preche Rodriguez came into this one 3 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons the last 3 years, but just 1 catch so far this season, and that was back in week 3. Certainly has the talent and was able to get behind the Gladiators defensive backs there. Came up with the touchdown catch, and Jacksonville's on the board for the first time. 5:48 left here in the first. And Julian Roush on for the extra point try. Roush kicked for Pittsburgh last season. The snap, the hold, and the kick is up. It is off the upright and no good. So the Gladiators lead 7-6 after the extra point try does not work out. 5:37 left here in the first quarter. 7-6 Gladiators out front of Jacksonville. Folks, this is Cleveland Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on My 43 WAB and 92.3 The Fan. 5:37 left here in the first. 7-6 Gladiators in front. Got Saturday night crowd on hand here at the Q, and they like what they've seen so far. Gladiators in the lead, and they're set to take the ball as the Jacksonville Sharks will kick off. Following their first touchdown of the game, Preche Rodriguez 26-yard touchdown catch capped off a 2-play 26-yard drive that took 1 minute 2 seconds for Jacksonville. The kickoff from Roush, long and down to our right, off the far netting, and Amari Jackson takes control. Up the right side and then wrapped up by Larachi Jackson inside the Gladiators' 10-yard line. So with that, Gladiators will be back inside their own 10 to start this drive. 5:27 left here in the first. 7-6 Gladiators in front of the Jacksonville Sharks. And they didn't do it that time. It's something to keep an eye on as this game wears along. Jacksonville has attempted 11 onside kicks this season, which is tied for the most onside kick attempts in the league. So that would lead you to believe that at some point they may think to go down that road or look to the onside kick. 5:10 left here in the first, and the Gladiators' 7-6 advantage. 1st and 10. They're on their own 8-yard line, going right to left. For those of you tuned in tonight, Shane Austin with 3 receivers on the left side. A pitch to Amari Jackson. He's going to run it past the 10-yard line. Stopped at about the 15 here on the near side. Getting in his way that time was the defensive back Terrence Smith out of South Carolina State. It's a nice pitch out to Amari Jackson. 4:43 left here in the first. Gladiators a 7-6 lead. And 2nd down and 3 coming from the Gladiators' 15-yard line. Austin so far in this one has gone to each of his receivers. 2 receivers right side. Goodman wide to the right. Taylor on the inside. And Amari Jackson's going to join them. He'll be On the inside now as Austin drops back and takes a look long over the middle, caught by Goodman at midfield to the 20-yard line and tripped up inside the 20. Gets down near the 17 or so with 4:10 left here in the first. Dominic Goodman, another nice gain. The Gladiators move on to the Jacksonville side. 18-yard pass play to Dominic Goodman. 4 minutes to go here in this first quarter, and the Gladiators trying to build on their lead. Jacksonville missed the extra point try after their first touchdown, and when that happens early in a game, it comes into play almost every time a team scores. As the Gladiators begin a new set of downs, 1st and 10. Shane Austin, 2 receivers to his right side. Goodman in motion this time. Austin looks over the middle, now to the left for Jackson, and he finds Amari Jackson around the 15. He's backed up. A tandem of Jacksonville defenders forced him back. He was finished off by Alvin Ray Jackson, the Jack linebacker. Larachi Jackson was in there as well. 3:20 left here in the first. 7-6 Gladiators out in front, and we'll bring up 2nd down and 7. Pickup of 3. They gave Amari Jackson the 14-yard line with his forward progress. Austin with PK Manley in the backfield. 2 receivers to the left. Amari Jackson, the lone man on the right side. Taylor in motion. He'll join Amari Jackson over on that right side. Austin on 2nd down and 7. Dumps one over the middle to Kid O'Brien. Inside the 10. Breaks a tackle and gets inside the 5-yard line before being brought down by the defender for Jacksonville, Terrence Smith. Good pickup for Kid O'Brien, and that's a 1st down. The Gladiators looking at 1st and goal from the 2-yard line now. After another receiver brought into the mix, and that's Kid O'Brien, an eligible tight end coming in off the offensive line. 2:28 left here in the first. Gladiators knocking on the door. Jeremy Richardson in at fullback this time. Austin hands to Richardson. He stopped, the ball comes loose, and it looks like Manley able to get on top of it for the Gladiators. Alvin Ray Jackson had a lane to it, but Philip Keith Manley able to jump on it, and the Gladiators maintain possession. Could have been catastrophic. It was right off the handoff. Austin gave it to Jeremy Richardson, who's usually the Gladiators' fullback when you get down near the end zone. He had it for a split second. The ball came loose. It was popped out after a hit from Xavier Brewer, who came in defensively for Jacksonville. 1:45 to go here in the first. 3 receivers right side. Austin on 2nd and goal from the 4. Looks to the end zone, and it's caught off a bounce by Amari Jackson, but they rule it incomplete. That hit the top of the boards. It was deemed an uncatchable ball by the receiver, or by the referee rather. And with that, 3rd and 4 on the way. It was into coverage. It bounced off a Jacksonville DB. That was Brewer there. That's a close one. Went off the top of the boards, and they say that one can't come back onto the playing surface. So, tough break for the Gladiators there. Now it's 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line. Into the final minute of play here in the first. 3 receivers right side. Austin takes a look, and it's broken up by a diving Larachi Jackson, intended for Colin Taylor, and now it's 4th and goal facing the Gladiators. 4th and goal from the 4. Let's not forget, the first time Jacksonville had the ball, they were stopped down near the goal line by the Gladiators. So Jacksonville trying to return the favor here. The Gladiators trying to take a lead, and will extend the lead that they have at 7-6 here with 27 seconds to go in this first quarter. And now it looks like there's some deliberation down on the field, as Larachi Jackson may need the assistance of the Jacksonville training staff. 22.1 seconds left here in the first, and Larachi Jackson, former Gladiator, 30 years old. Spent parts of the last 2 seasons with the Gladiators. And he'll head over to the bench. Had a big play on this drive defensively for Jacksonville, breaking up a pass. He's going to go back to the locker room. So now 4th and goal facing the Gladiators. 17 seconds left here in the quarter. 2 receivers right side, make it 3. Amari Jackson heads over. Austin takes a look, and so up to make the catch. Amari Jackson, touchdown Gladiators. Gladiators. It's 13-6. Far corner of the end zone. Austin spotted Amari Jackson, and on 4th down, it's a huge Gladiators touchdown. So now the Gladiators looking to make this an 8-point game, and this is where that missed extra point from Jacksonville comes into play, and we're going to see this time and time again as the evening unfolds. Jacksonville, every time they find the end zone, will be pressured with, well, when do they go for 2 and try to even things back up? Now the extra point try from Trevino. Low snap, but Deeker got it down. The kick from Trevino is up, and it is through. 14-6 Gladiators, the first quarter in the books. So the Gladiators an 8-point advantage through 1. We'll be back with the second quarter. When we come back, folks, this is Cleveland Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on My 43 WUAB and 92.3 The Fan.
The Gladiators with a 14-6 lead on the Sharks as we begin the second quarter. Joined right now by quarterback Shane Austin. Shane, take me through that last touchdown, Pele.
First of all, the O-line did a great job protecting, giving me some time back there. And when they can do that, we can do a lot of stuff. But we knew all week that they're going to be physical down in the red zone, so we got to counter that. We got to be physical as well.
It seems like you and Amari now are getting on the same page. The last time we did a game, you guys were a little off. Are you guys getting in sync now?
Yeah, we're definitely building chemistry each and every game. I mean, we want to just keep going up and incline each week and get better, and that's what I feel like we're doing. So if we can keep that up, then we're going to be all right.
All right, thanks. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Doug, up to you.
Thanks very much. That's the quarterback Shane Austin downstairs. A 4-yard touchdown pass to Amari Jackson to cap off that last Gladiators drive. Austin 6-12, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns in the game as we get set to begin quarter number 2 from here at Quicken Loans Arena. Amari Jackson had 2 touchdown catches last week. Another one here today for the big Gladiators receiver out of South Florida. Down to our left is Adrian Trevino to boot this one. Down to our right, returning for the Jacksonville Sharks is Terrence Smith. Kickoff from Trevino. Larachi Jackson left with an injury, and now Smith comes in to return. The kickoff goes through that center netting. There won't be a return in Jacksonville. 7 seconds into quarter number 2. We'll get things going here after we go downstairs to Kenny Rhoda.
Yeah, Larachi Jackson, we were just talking about him on the bench over here, guys. He had to come out of the game. Right shoulder, right neck injury as he walked back in the tunnel. That's what they were working on, his right shoulder, right around the neck area. So we'll see if he comes back in this game.
Made a big play on that drive right before he got injured, did Larachi Jackson. Thanks for the update downstairs, Kenny. As the Gladiators hold a 14-6 lead over the Jacksonville Sharks. Medical Mutual stats through 1 quarter. First downs, 5-2 for the Gladiators, 91-39 in the yardage department. The only penalty of the quarter was called on the Gladiators. Grady, left side, Preche Rodriguez to the 10-yard line, and won't get enough for the first down, but picks up a chunky yardage, perhaps 6 or 7 on that particular sequence. And Preche Rodriguez has himself a couple of catches so far in this one for the Jacksonville Sharks. We've gone about a minute here in the second. 8-point advantage for the Gladiators, 14-6 the score. They gave Rodriguez the 11-yard line. So with that, 2nd down and 4 to come for the Jacksonville Sharks. Tommy Grady, a former MVP, surrounded by 1,000-yard receivers and the AFL's all-time leading rusher, but they just haven't gotten it going yet. Now pressure comes in, and the pass from Grady is batted away by Jeremy Richardson, coming in hard off that defensive line. It'll be 3rd down and 4 for Jacksonville. Richardson got in there and got a hand up on the ball, knocked it away as Grady let it go. Tell you what, that's a tall task because Grady, well, he's a tall quarterback, 6'7" out there. Saw him throwing some warm-up tosses during the time before the game, before the arena's even open, out there throwing some passes, and he certainly has some size and can see over the line, but that time couldn't see over Jeremy Richardson. 2 receivers right side. Played about 2 minutes here in the second. In motion, wide to the right is Joe Hills. Grady for Hills, right side, enough for the first down, but we have a flag down around the 10-yard line. Hills angled out of bounds immediately by the Gladiators, Justin Hanna. So now we get ready for the penalty call. 12:59 to go here in the second. It's an illegal formation call against the Jacksonville offense. So that's going to back them up a little bit. It'll be 3rd down and 9 and they move back to their own 6-yard line. Jacksonville this season on third down, second in the AFL at 55.6%. So they've been fairly effective in this situation, but it is a third down and long play. 3 receivers right side. Grady on 3rd and 9. Throws over the middle off the outstretched right hand of Tiger Jones and incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down and 9. So what do the Jacksonville Sharks and their head coach Les Moss do here in this situation? Grady just 2 of 7 throwing the ball to start here in this one. The Jacksonville offense a bit out of sync, to say the least. Gladiators knew before this one started they're going to have to get into the head, get into the face of Tommy Grady. They haven't registered a sack yet, but they've put on some pressure, and well, he's thrown more incomplete passes than complete passes at this point. 3 receivers right side. Jacksonville going for it here on 4th and 9. Grady throws long, and Tiger Jones down to try and make a play, but now we have penalty flags. It fell incomplete, but we have penalty flags down, and the Gladiators certainly don't want to see a pass interference against the defense here, but I think that may be the route we're headed. 11:47 to go here in the second. Justin Hanna was on Tiger Jones.
Pass interference on the defense, number 20. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So it is a 10-yard penalty and a 1st down. Pass interference called against Justin Hanna, his first game as a Gladiator. How about that? First game with the team, go out and guard the league's leading receiver. That time Tiger Jones got a step on him, and Hanna ventured outside the boundaries of the rule book to try and make a defensive play. So back to new life for the Jacksonville Sharks. 1st down and 10 for them out at their own 16. Grady looks right, completed. Rodriguez in stride, cuts over midfield, dragged down around the 22-yard line or so of the Gladiators. Donnie Fletcher in there to put a body on him, and that'll bring up another 1st down for Jacksonville. And you know, plays like that, they can be tough. You hope that's not what Jacksonville was looking for to get going. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a break like that for a team that gets them back on track. Jacksonville was a bit out of sync in the first quarter. They were stopped at the goal line, and that's certainly something you don't see a ton of in arena football. 2 receivers right side. Preche Rodriguez is the motion man. Grady looks left on 1st down, completed to Joe Hills, the former Tampa Bay Storm. Shakes away, cuts up the left side. He was bumped out of bounds by Hanna, but not before picking up a big chunky yardage. He'll be up near the marker. They're going to give him the 1st down here, it would appear. They'll be down inside the red zone, or right at the edge of the red zone. So it'll be 1st and goal for Jacksonville from the 10-yard line of the Gladiators. The Sharks moving right to left. And Grady starting to get into a bit of a rhythm down there. The quarterback for Jacksonville, Joe Hills, this season coming in 2nd on the Sharks in receiving yards with 494. 3 receivers right side. 1st and goal from the 10. Grady looks over the middle, lofts one, and up to make a play on it is Hills. He's got it. Touchdown, Jacksonville. 9:58 to go here in the second, and Jacksonville once again to within 2 points. So a chance to tie the game for the Sharks, but you wonder if they'll go for 2. Doesn't look like that's the case. Julian Roush, the kicker, on the field. So a second look at that one. Grady tossed it to the far corner of the end zone, and Hills was able to get inside on Hanna and pull in that football for his 15th touchdown catch of the year. Roush on for the extra point try. The snap's a high one. They get it down. The kick from Roush up and straight through. So 14-13 is the score. 9:18 left here in the second quarter. Gladiators remain in front. Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on My 43 WUAB and 92.3 The Fan. At Jacksonville, 9:18 left here in the second. And Jacksonville coming off a Joe Hills touchdown and a converted extra point try. It's now a 14-13 game. Gladiators remain out in front. The difference maker so far, Julian Roush, missed the extra point on Jacksonville's first touchdown back in the first quarter. Roush ready to kick this one away from our right down to our left where Amari Jackson is set up. And Jackson's been busy so far in this one. He's got a run for 7 yards, 3 catches for 43 yards and a touchdown, and he's been the primary kick returner for the Gladiators. Roush has it teed up. Jackson down to the left, and here's Roush to boot it. Somewhat of a line drive, goes into the near netting, off a bounce, a wild bounce, and there to grab it is Hannah down near the 1 yard line or so. So the Gladiators avoid disaster there. That one took a funny bounce off the netting, off the turf, but darted back, and it was Hannah able to reel it in. So the Gladiators will have a 48-yard field ahead of them. Gladiators like to thank University Hospitals, Elyria Medical Center, Center of Orthopedics, Network Radiology, NEO Spine and Sport, NovaCare, the Vision Development Team, Team Physician Dr. Scott Singer, Team Dentist Dr. Todd Russell for being the official medical team of the Cleveland Gladiators. 9 minutes to go, second quarter, 14-13 Gladiators on top of Jacksonville. Gladiators, they spot it back at their 1 yard line, so a 49-yard field ahead of them here. First down and 10 as the Gladiators go left to right. 3 receivers left side, Amari Jackson in motion. Austin over the middle, Jackson off his fingertips and incomplete. He had to dive backwards for that one to try and reel it in. He overstepped it a little bit, and that's going to be an incomplete pass, bringing up second down and 10. How about Tommy Grady going back to that last Jacksonville drive? Had better numbers on that drive than he had in the rest of the game combined leading up to that point. Grady was 4-6 for 40 yards on that last Jacksonville scoring drive. Remember, there was a pass interference call on a fourth down that gave Jacksonville some further life on that drive. 14-13 Gladiators, second and 10. They're back at their own 1. Austin takes a look, throws along for Jackson. Can he get there? It's a little too far, but we've got a flag down. Will it be a pass interference call against Larachi Jackson of Jacksonville, who's back into the lineup here after leaving with an injury back in the first quarter? We wait for the verdict here. 7:59 left in the second.
Illegal contact on the defense, number 6. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down. Gladiators get a little bit of breathing room. Illegal contact against Larachi Jackson, as the Gladiators went right at him. And you wonder, because the Gladiators have that knowledge of Larachi Jackson going back a couple of seasons, do they try to throw at him? Plus, there's the fact that Jackson has already left this game with an injury and come back in. Will he be slowed down at all? 2 receivers left side. Austin, a handoff. PK Manley lugs it ahead, picks up 2 or 3 as he's brought down by Alvin Ray Jackson. Nicholas John Baptiste in there to help out with the tackle. Manley, tough to bring down. You look at his dimensions out there. 6'4", 340 out of Toledo. Plugging the ball ahead right through the line. So it's second and 7. Gladiators at their own 9-yard line, going left to right. Dominic Goodman in motion in the slot to the left of Austin. Austin for Goodman over the middle, has it around the 15, and he leans ahead. May have gotten just enough for the first down, and looks like he did. So with 6:52 to go here in the second, Gladiators a 1-point advantage. They get the first down on a completion to Goodman. Some hard work yardage there as he was right there in coverage. Got run into immediately by a couple of Jacksonville defenders, but held on the ball. 14-13 Gladiators, 6:35 to go here in the second. First and 10 Gladiators on their own 16-yard line. 3 receivers to the right. The inside man is Amari Jackson in motion. Flags all over the place as this one takes off. Austin over the middle, picked off by Terrence Smith, and he's brought down immediately by Colin Taylor. Now we wait to see what the penalty marker was for. 14-13 Gladiators in front, and looks like the offense is going to stay on the field. That interception likely to be called back.
Defensive offside, number 90. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down for the Gladiators. Jacksonville with the D-line jumping the gun just a little bit. 6:15 to go here in the second. 14-13. Gladiators in front of the Sharks. 2 receivers right side. Taylor in motion to make it 3. Manley in the backfield. Austin, 1st and 5. Takes a look over the middle. Scrambles left. He's going to run with it, and he picks up enough for the first down. Takes a hit from Greg Reed. And it looks like he's ruled down over on that far side, may have clipped the board. So 5:45 to go here in the second. Gladiators by a point, 14-13. Let's go down to the bench. Kenny Rhoda.
Hey, Doug, on that last play, the interception that was nullified because of the offsides penalty, Shane Austin knew that they had jumped offside, so he was trying to make a play. It was a free play. He knew nothing bad could come of it because they would get the ball back if he turned it over.
The line had jumped a little bit. Jerry Turner. Two receivers right side. Goodman in motion. Austin, first down and 10. Forced to roll out to his left, then cuts ahead. Picks up some yards, has enough for the first down. Dashes inside the 10-yard line before being brought down around the 9 by Greg Reed. So how about Shane Austin showing some of that ability to make something out of nothing and scramble a little bit here. Picked up some rushing yardage on this sequence. Got his team a first down there, and we saw that a lot last season. Austin's willingness to take off, not just an ability to do it, but he likes to do it. Likes to get in there and pick up the rushing yardage when he can chip in. So now it's first and goal from the 9. The Gladiators into the red zone again. Gladiators this season tied for 9th in the AFL in red zone offense, 75.9%. Two receivers right side. Make it two on the left as Taylor's in motion. Austin looks over the middle, and Taylor up the ground, and he's got it. Touchdown Gladiators, Colin Taylor. And we've got flags on the play. Right around the 14-yard line or so. Will this be coming back?
Touchdown's good.
Oh, they say it's a good one. Roughing the passer.
Number 56 on the defense. That penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
So they'll assess the roughing the passer penalty on the kickoff. It's a good touchdown for the Gladiators. 4:21 to go here in the second. A 7-point lead for the Gladiators and the extra point unit on to try and make it an 8-point lead. Adrian Trevino on for the kick. Deeker on for the hold. 14th touchdown catch for Taylor. 11th in 4 games now. He's got 12 touchdowns in his last 3 games and change in all. 4 minutes to go here in the quarter. The hold from Deeker's down. The kick is up from Trevino, and it's through. 21-13, Gladiators on top of Jacksonville. And with that, folks, we will step away. This is Cleveland Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on My 43 WAB and 92.3 The Fan. .356 to go here in the second quarter. 21-13, Gladiators on top of the Jacksonville Sharks. And it's the Gladiators set to kick one away here as Adrian Trevino has it teed up down to our left. Colin Taylor had the touchdown catch to cap off that last Gladiators drive. It was a 49-yard drive that included 2 Shane Austin runs for 20 yards. Austin's 8 of 15 for 102 yards and 3 touchdowns, 1 interception to go with it. How about him turn it up since that first drive? He was 0 for 3 with an interception on the first drive. Then Jacksonville went down the field, was stopped at the 1-yard line. Now here's an onside kick try by the Gladiators. It's batted out of bounds by Joe Hills of Jacksonville. And with that, Jacksonville's going to have a short field ahead of them. 3:52 to go here in the second. We'll step aside, folks. It is Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on My 43 WAB and 92.3 The Fan.
Quicken Loans Arena, the Gladiators with a 21-13 lead thanks to a touchdown grab by Colin Taylor, who joins me right now. Colin, in the red zone, Coach told me before the game you guys were expecting a very physical man-to-man defense, and it was about getting off the line of scrimmage. Was that the key to that play?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They're an aggressive defense. They jump a lot of moves. They're going to come down and press you, and we worked on that all week. We were thinking we'd get them with the double move because they're jumping so hard on those first moves, and we were successful. Shane threw a nice ball, and we got 7 points on the board, and that's the goal.
What is it with you and Shane the last few weeks, man? You guys are hooking up big time.
Man, Shane and I are rolling, but, it's not just Shane and I. Goody's playing great. Amari's playing great. And then, when Cruzy gets his opportunity, he's going to play great, too. We're finally starting to catch our strides with the receivers and the quarterback, and we feel good every time we're out there, like we can score.
All right, thanks, Colin. Best of luck the rest of the way.
You got it. Thank you.
Doug, back up to you.
Thanks very much. Kenny Rhoda with Colin Taylor downstairs as we've got flags down on the first Jacksonville play of the sequence. And, well, it'll be first down and 15. A 5-yard penalty against the Sharks backs them to their own side of midfield, to the 22-yard line. Remember, the Gladiators tried an onside kick after that Taylor touchdown. Didn't work out for them. And So Jacksonville has pretty good starting field position here on this drive. 3:22 left here in the second. Three receivers right side. Grady, a handoff to Ross this time. Powers ahead, back over midfield, and essentially gets the yardage back that Jacksonville lost with the penalty. They went to Ross a lot on that first drive. Gladiators didn't give up a whole lot to the man they call the boss. And the Gladiators, they come into this one leading the league in rush defense, giving up just 11.3 yards a game. So that's been a strength of the Gladiators this season. Second down and 11 now, facing the Jacksonville Sharks as they've gone back across midfield. They're at the Gladiators' 24-yard line. Three receivers right side, and Tiger Jones, the league's leading receiver, is the motion man. Going in against Hannah. Grady takes a look right. Wide open is Joe Hills. He has enough for the first down. He's run out of bounds on the far side by Fred Shaw, playing his second game as a Gladiator after debuting for the team last week. First down for the Jacksonville Sharks, and with 2:24 left here in the second quarter, Jacksonville back into the red zone. It's first and goal from the 9 for them. Hills was wide open on that last play. Was able to slip away and picked up enough for the first down. Talk about weapons. Tommy Grady has them. Three receivers loaded on the left side. Hills line up right behind Rodriguez, and now flags down before the play even takes off. 1:55 left in the quarter. Love an announcement.
Offside, high motion man, number 11. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
So they get an offside call against Tiger Jones. So that's going to back Jacksonville up 10 yards. First and goal from the Cleveland 19-yard line. How about the penalties so far in this one? Let's see where Jacksonville has hurt themselves. 7 penalties for 45 yards against the Sharks. 1 penalty, 10 yards against the Gladiators. Three receivers left side. Grady finds Rodriguez up the left sideline down to about the 11-yard line or so. He's angled out of bounds by Donnie Fletcher, the Gladiators' Jack linebacker out of Boston College. And 1:23 remains here in quarter number 2. And it looks like the Gladiators have called a timeout. 8-point ball game. Gladiators in front. Jacksonville knows they have to score. Gladiators down to 2 timeouts. Jacksonville has all 3 of theirs. So, little conference on the field, and well, now Kenny Rhoda and I will have a conference. Kenny, what do you have for us?
That was a heck of a play by Justin Hanna right there. He got upended, still got up and made the tackle. I mean, he fought off a good block, went head over heels, and found the ball carrier, and still was able to bring him down and make a play. So his first game, he's very active here tonight.
First game for him, Kenny, and you knew you'd see Jacksonville challenge him on a lot of occasions because it's his first game for the Gladiators.
Absolutely, good job.
So now Jacksonville looking at second and goal from the 12-yard line. 1:23 to go in the quarter. Appreciate Rodriguez. Busy game for him. 4 catches, 52 yards, and a touchdown so far. 3 receivers right side for Jacksonville with Ross in the backfield. Second down, Grady. Looks left, Rodriguez. Did he hang on? He tumbled out of bounds, and we wait for the ruling. And it looks like it's an incomplete pass. And I tell you what, folks, if you haven't paid much attention to arena football, if you just flip this on for the first time, folks are at their first game, that kind of stuff happens all the time. And Rodriguez went tumbling over the boards, put his body on the line to make what could have been an unbelievable play, but instead it's an incomplete pass, and it's going to be third and goal from the 12-yard line. And Rodriguez, he's shaking that one off. There's no question about it. Grady's 8 of 13, 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. Appreciate Rodriguez. Mentioned coming into this season, 3 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons for him. And the Gladiators defensively out there meeting with the defensive coordinator, Ron James, the D-line, to get things sorted out. Get everybody on the same page here going into a big third down play. Jacksonville again, second in the league on third down. They have 2 plays to score. 2nd and goal. Remember, they got into the red zone. Then with penalties, were moved back a bit. They've regained some of the yardage they lost, but not all of it. 3rd and goal from the 12. 3 receivers right side. Grady looks over to that right side, now over the middle, and it's off the fingertips of Hills and incomplete. Joe Hills couldn't pull that one in, and with that, 4th and goal from the 12 coming for Jacksonville. And with that, we go to the 1-minute warning of the first half. So, 21-13 Gladiators with a minute to go here in the half. We'll step aside. Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on My 43 WAB and 92.3 The Fan. Welcome back. Minute to go here in the first half. 21-13 Gladiators. It's Military Salute Night on Friday, May 15th, when the Gladiators take on New Orleans at 7. Get a free game ticket when you present your military ID at the Q box office. For tickets, 216-420-2222. Visit clevelandgladiators.com or any Northern Ohio discount drug mart. Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions. And for Jacksonville, 4th and goal from the 12-yard line. Looks like they're going to kick a field goal here with Julian Roush. The hole will be right around the 20-yard line. And it's a good snap and a good hold. The kick from Roush is up, and it's no good. Takes a bounce, and the Sharks able to get on top of it. Remember, they are returnable in the AFL. 52.5 seconds to go here in this first half of play. The Jacksonville Sharks were able to get on that one, and now seems to be some discussion out on the field, down to the 5-yard line. And the Jacksonville offense is headed back on. So with that, the Gladiators, by the way, are down to 1 timeout.
After the attempt field goal. 1st and goal, Jacksonville.
So Jacksonville winds up with the ball off the missed field goal, and just like that, it's the Gladiators into a pressure situation. 1st and goal from the 5, a handoff to Ross over the pile, down to about the 2. And the clock will run. Remember the first time the Jacksonville Sharks had it down this close to the goal line, and it was on their first drive of the game. They went to Ross. Heavy dose of Derek Ross against the Gladiators on that first Jacksonville drive. Didn't work out for the Sharks. The Gladiators had every answer to that. 41.1 seconds to go here in the half. 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line. Now the Gladiators are able to get the ball back. In the event that Jacksonville scores a touchdown, in a way, it's almost the quicker they score. You can look at the bright side. There would be a good chunk of time for the Gladiators to work with and try and take a lead into halftime. Jacksonville's going to get the ball to start the second half of play, so they just want to get this thing back close to either tied up or get it to within a point. 3 receivers right side. Ross in the backfield. Grady hands to Ross. Plunges through. Touchdown, Jacksonville. So with 38.6 seconds left in the half, Jacksonville has pulled back to within 2 points. Now do they go for 2 or do they kick it? Looks like they're going to kick it and try to pull back to within 1. The Gladiators, though, will have what in arena football terms can be an eternity to work with. 38.6 seconds. Roush for the extra point. On for the hold is Lee Chappell, the backup quarterback. And he gets it down. Here's the kick from Roush, and it is no good. Roush is having a tough day kicking the ball. He's missed a field goal. He's missed 2 extra points. 38.6 seconds on the clock here in the first half. Gladiators remain ahead by 2. Folks, with that, let's step aside. Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on My 43 WAB and 92.3 The Fan. 21-19 Gladiators in front of Jacksonville. 38 seconds left here in the second quarter. Creeping up on halftime. Julian Roush missed another extra point. An extra point attempt that followed Touchdown by Derek Ross, his 11th rushing touchdown of the season, the AFL's all-time leading rusher. Roush down to our right to boot this one. Amari Jackson down to our left to handle the returns. Here's the kick from Roush. This one's high, won't get to the net. Fielded cleanly by Jackson. Amari Jackson out to the 7, turns right to the 10-yard line, makes a couple of moves and brought down. And did the ball come loose? Looks like a little scramble for it, but the whistle blew ahead of time. And with that, it'll be Gladiators ball with just over a half minute to go here in this first half of play. Shane Austin began the game 0-3 with an interception. Since then, 8-12, 3 touchdowns, 102 yards. And Austin also has 2 carries for 20 yards. Gladiators with 1 timeout. 30.7 seconds on the clock. And in arena football terms, a half minute can be a lot of time to work with. Shane Austin, 1st and 10 from his own 12, going left to right. Colin Taylor's the motion man. Austin, left side. Amari Jackson, and he's angled to the boards right in front of the Jacksonville bench on a defensive play made by Terrence Smith. 26 seconds to go in this first half. Jacksonville, they're trying to keep this the 2-point ball game that it is. They're going to get the ball to start the second half. Gladiators trying to build on their lead here in the waning moments of the second quarter. 2 receivers right side. Taylor in motion once again. Austin on 2nd and 6. Over the middle. Taylor has it. He's wrapped up around the 20 and reaches out of bounds. Some hard-fought yardage up the left side, and then was able to get that arm out of bounds to bring the play and the clock to a close. So Taylor battling for the yardage there, a 16-yard pickup. 20.7 seconds left here in the quarter. 21-19 Gladiators in front of the Sharks. 1st and 10 for the Gladiators from the 18-yard line. Jackson wide to the left, Taylor wide to the right, Goodman in motion, slot to the right. Austin takes a look right side. Taylor spins and has some room to run into the red zone. He goes down inside the 5-yard line before he's bumped out of bounds by Terrence Smith. 14 seconds left here in the second quarter. Gladiators a 21-19 lead. Down to the 4-yard line they go. So the Gladiators knocking on the door once again, and this would be a huge touchdown if the Gladiators are able to get it in the end zone here. 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. Taylor in motion. Austin a pitch to Jeremy Richardson. And he dives ahead. It'll be stopped in his tracks up the left side around the 3-yard line or so. 6 seconds left here in the half. 21-19, Gladiators on top of Jacksonville. And the Gladiators have burned their final timeout. So Jeremy Richardson stopped short of the goal line. Looks like they gave him maybe a yard. And he'll come out. So Richardson onto the mix. Austin talking things over with the Gladiators head coach Steve Tunn. They won't kick a field goal. They'll look to try and get in the end zone. So we'll see what they come up with here with 6 seconds to go in the second quarter. Jacksonville has 2 timeouts. They, though, just want to get out of the half. Taylor is going to be the motion man once again. Manley in the backfield. Austin, 2nd and goal. Takes a look left side. It's batted, picked off, and out come the Sharks from the end zone. They're going to run out of time here. Alvin Ray Jackson brought down by Manley around the 5. The second interception of the half for Austin brings the half to a close. So 21-19 Gladiators after 2 quarters here at the Cube at Jacksonville gets a crucial defensive stop to close out the half, and they'll get the ball to start the second half. It was a deflected ball that wound up in the grasp of Alvin Ray Jackson, the former Gladiator. He didn't get much further than the 5-yard line with it, but it doesn't matter in that sequence. All Jacksonville was trying to do was escape the half. Now let's go downstairs to Kenny Rhoda.
Thanks. I'm with CJ Cobb. CJ, how would you assess that first half overall?
It's pretty good. We knew it was going to be a fight coming into it. We made some mistakes definitely like that first series and just now for half, definitely wanted to score there, but feels good to be up. Defense is playing great right now for us, and we just have to be a little bit more consistent on offense, and we'll be all right.
How are you handling Joe Skiles? Skiles, one of the best defensive ends in this league. Coach told me about him before the game, said you'd have your hands full. You're holding up pretty good. How you doing it?
Yeah, I mean, Joe Sykes, I've been in this league now for about 5 years. I played against Joe a few times already. I know him pretty well. I mean, he is good. He's as good as they say. I just have to be confident in what I do. It's not about what he does. It's about what I do. And as long as I can keep my feet going and stay in front of him, we'll be all right.
Keys in the second half. What do you guys have to do to get a win, make it 3 in a row?
Like I said, be more consistent on offense, eliminate the mistakes. Defense has to get off the field on 4th down. We've got them to 4th down now a couple of times and have kind of given up a big one or got a penalty. So if we can eliminate those mistakes and stay consistent on offense, we'll be all right.
All right, CJ, go get some water. Talk to you after the game, hopefully.
Definitely. Thank you.
CJ Kopp doing a great job here tonight protecting his quarterback, Shane Austin. The Gladiators with a 21-19 lead here at halftime. Stay tuned. We've got more second half action coming your way. This is Cleveland Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on My 43 WUAB and 92.3 The Fan.
Over Jacksonville, getting set to begin the second half here at the Q. Follow the Gladiators on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay connected with your favorite team. Interact with the team like never before while you view and share the coolest team pictures and videos. Gladiators football is presented by Unique Home Solutions. Let's go downstairs to Kenny Rhoda before we start the second half.
Thanks, Doug. I just talked with head coach Steve Tunn to get an explanation on that missed field goal. Here's what he told me. The referee said that once the ball hits the ground and if the Sharks recover it past the line of scrimmage, then they're able to retain the ball and get a new set of downs. If they get it in the air and it's behind the line of scrimmage, or it hits the ground and it's behind the line of scrimmage, then the Gladiators would have received the ball. That's the explanation that Steve Tunn got from the officials. As far as this second half, Steve Tunn said, hey, we've got to get a stop here, keep the lead, don't give up the lead, make them earn everything. We can't give them points like we did there on that missed field goal.
Thanks very much, Kenny, and thanks for the clarification as well. A lot of intricacies, a lot of nuances in arena football that you don't get in the outdoor game, and you saw one come into play right there, and well, it wound up helping out the Jacksonville Sharks quite a bit. It's a big reason why this is just a 2-point ball game now, and Jacksonville set to get the ball to start off this second half of play. Here from the Q, Larachi Jackson down to our left to receive the kickoff. The Gladiators in a quick huddle before the half starts. 21-19, Gladiators in front of Jacksonville. Gladiators coach Steve Tunn looking to guide his team to a 3rd straight victory if they can pick up a win here tonight. 2-point Gladiators lead at the half. Ready for a new half of football. Larachi Jackson. There's the return man for Jacksonville. Adrian Trevino ready to kick this one away for the Gladiators. Jackson, the lone man down there. Jacksonville perhaps keeping an eye open for the onside kick try. The Gladiators did try one back in the first half, one that didn't work out. Sometimes you see a secondary return man lined up close to that primary return man. Not the case here. Here's the kick. It's up out of play and no return. Right under that center bar and into about the second row of seats. A souvenir when you catch a ball that leaves the playing surface, you can take that one home. That man right there, he'll be taking home a souvenir. 9 seconds into the new half. 21-19, Gladiators in front. On come the Jacksonville Sharks offense. 1st and 10 from their own 5-yard line, going left to right. Tommy Grady, the Jacksonville quarterback, 8 of 14, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns, has not been intercepted. 2 receivers right side. Grady, quick pass to Rodriguez in stride, and he lunges forward. He's tripped up by Hanna, picked up 7 or 8 yards. So a good pickup there for Jacksonville on 1st down. Get out beyond their own 10-yard line. Looks like they give them 8 yards on the play. 2nd and 2 from the Jacksonville 13. And we've seen Grady on a couple of occasions go to Rodriguez in stride coming out of the backfield. A rhythm play for a guy, Rodriguez, who coming into this one had just one catch for Jacksonville this season. Here's a handoff to Ross, and he's going to get more than enough for the first down. On his feet past midfield, inside the 20 to the 15 to the 10-yard line, and a sizable gain there for the AFL's all-time leading rusher, Derek Ross. A play that took off at the Jacksonville 13-yard line. The ball will be spotted at the 11. A 26-yard pickup on the ground for Derek Ross. 26 yards, more than double the amount of rushing yards the Gladiators have given up on average per game this season. 13:25 left here in the third. 21-19, Gladiators on top of Jacksonville. 3 receivers right side. Grady takes a look right. Rodriguez again on a swing pass inside the 10, inside the 5, and he's run into the sideboards by Donnie Fletcher and Justin Hanna. So Rodriguez again on the pass play. That time gets the Jacksonville Sharks down to about the 4-yard line. So a pickup of 7. 15 receiving yards on the sequence now on the series for Preche Rodriguez. Jacksonville looking to take their first lead of the football game if they can get it in the end zone. 2nd and 3 from the 4 for the Sharks. They're moving left to right. 2 receivers left side, Ross in the backfield. Grady takes a look left, throws, Hills, and he's stopped by Fletcher, leans ahead, and they're going to rule his forward progress stopped inside the 1-yard line, but not in the end zone. So the Gladiators able to force Hills to come up short, but it's going to be 1st and goal from about the 1-foot line for the Jacksonville Sharks after the completion to Hills. Now I'd imagine once again perhaps a heavy dose of Derek Ross. About 3 minutes into the third quarter, Jacksonville down 2. 2 receivers left side, make it 2 on the right as Rodriguez is in motion. Grady hands to Ross, and he leans ahead. He gets enough for the touchdown. There's the signal, and Jacksonville has taken a 25-21 lead, their first lead of the football game. 11:40 left in the third. So Jacksonville gets the ball to start the half, comes right out, and they cash in. A big series for Derek Ross. Had the 26-yard gain that put Jacksonville into Gladiators territory, and then he was able to cap off the drive. So Derek Ross the touchdown, and here's Julian Roush on for the extra point try. The hold is down, and the kick is up and through, so Roush has had a rough one kicking the ball so far. 2 extra points missed and a field goal missed, but that time he's able to nail it. 5-point lead for the Sharks, 26-21, 11:09 left here in the third. Folks will step aside. It's Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on 92.3 The Fan and My43 WAB. Jacksonville on top of the Gladiators, 11:09 to go here in the third quarter. Folks, enroll in the Gladiators Football Alliance, the exclusive club for Gladiators season ticket holders. Members receive year-round benefits, special discounts, and much more. For details, 216-420-2222. Visit clevelandgladiators.com. Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions. Derek Ross had the 1-yard touchdown run to finish off that last Jacksonville drive and give them their first lead of the game. He's got 8 carries for 47 yards and 2 touchdowns in the game, including a 26-yard run on that drive that helped set up that touchdown. Now here's the ensuing kickoff, a line drive off the hands of Amari Jackson, off the end wall. It was a line drive kick from Roush. And with 11:04 to go here in the third quarter, it'll be Gladiators ball. First down and 10 with 45 yards separating the Gladiators from the end zone. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Gladiators from their own 5-yard line going right to left. Gladiators in their black jerseys, black pants, black helmets. Jacksonville, white jerseys, white pants, red trim, red helmets. 26-21, Sharks on top of the Gladiators. Austin 11 of 19 throwing the ball coming into this drive. 2 receivers right side. Austin takes a look over the middle behind Amari Jackson. Got one hand back on it, but that one falls incomplete. And with that 2nd down and 10, Gladiators back at their own 5-yard line. 10:23 to go here in the third. And the Gladiators now working from behind in this one. Gladiators 4-2 after 2 straight wins. Jacksonville 1-5. They lost to Tampa Bay on the road last week. Second straight road game for the Sharks. 2 receivers right side. Dominic Goodman, the motion man. Austin on second down. His arm is running to the end zone. The ball comes loose, and it's picked up by the Sharks at the 4-yard line by Alvin Ray Jackson. And Les Moss is getting his offense onto the field quickly. The Gladiators probably wondering if they should review that or not. 9:54 to go in the third quarter. And obviously the question, would it be an incomplete pass or is it a fumble? Austin reared back to make the throw. His arm was run into. It came free. And now the Jacksonville Sharks run a play. It's a handoff to Ross on 1st and goal, and he picks up about 2 yards. And now the Sharks get down to the 2-yard line. So the game could really take a turn here. The Gladiators defense has a tall task. 9:17 to go here in the third. 2nd and goal from the 3 for the Sharks now. They came on, they wanted to run a play quickly to get the series going. 2 receivers right side, 1 to the left, it'll be Tiger Jones. He's had a quiet game so far. Grady, he'll hand it off to Ross, who's stopped in his tracks. Nothing doing there, and he's dropped back. Colby Way in there with Anthony DeGrade on the stop. And now it's going to be 3rd and goal for the Jacksonville Sharks. Taking a look at the fumble from Austin. Getting in there was Joe Sykes, number 19, off the defensive line for the Sharks. He got an arm in there on Austin's arm. Knocked it free. 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line for the Jacksonville Sharks here. Again, the Gladiators defense needs to stand tall now. Over the middle, Grady for Rodriguez. He's got it. Touchdown, Jacksonville. 8:14 left here in the third. And just moments after Jacksonville took their first lead of the game, now they lead by 2 scores. And it's the first 2-score lead of the game for either team. 32-21 Sharks, and on comes the extra point unit. Grady just floated it up there for Priche Rodriguez, who's had a busy game for the Sharks in this one. Rodriguez, 7 catches for 71 yards and a pair of touchdowns. 2nd touchdown of the game for him right there. And now the extra point try from Roush is straight through. Jacksonville has taken a 33-21 lead over the Cleveland Gladiators. We'll step aside. The Gladiators with some work to do. This is Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on My 43 WAB and 92.3 The Fan.
Arena, the Gladiators with some work to do now. They trail 33-21, and Doug, pretty tough to stop that last play. 6'7" Grady to 6'5" Rodriguez. It's a little alley-oop play that we've seen from the Cavaliers with Tristan Thompson and some of the other Cavs. So that's a tough play, especially down in the red zone, but they've got to put it behind them now and try and get a touchdown here and get back in this thing.
And so far in this one, when Jacksonville's gone down near the goal line, they've given a heavy dose of Derek Ross. That time, perhaps going to Ross so many times drew the Gladiators in a little bit. They went up top to Rodriguez, who found an opening, and now on the kickoff down to our right, Amari Jackson in the end zone. He'll field it cleanly. Jackson right side, and he escapes one tackler. Then he's angled to the sideboards around the 10-yard line of the Gladiators with 7:26 to go here in the third quarter. 33-21. Jacksonville in front. This was a 21-19 lead for the Gladiators at halftime. And it's amazing sometimes in the Arena Football League how quickly things can turn. And in this particular sequence of events here early in the second half, things have turned against the Gladiators. It was a fumble by Shane Austin as he was pressured heavily. Went to throw, ball came loose. Alvin Ray Jackson recovered, and then Jacksonville ultimately would take the first 2-score lead of the football game. So now the Gladiators offense back on the field, 1st and 10 from their own 9, going right to left. Austin takes a look over the middle. Caught by Amari Jackson, shy of midfield. He's wrapped up but not taken down, and then forced out of bounds by Terrence Smith. Unable to bring down big Amari Jackson was Xavier Brewer. A 20-yard pickup for the Cleveland Gladiators, and the receiver, Amari Jackson. Down to the 21, first down and 10 for the Gladiators, who are looking to score in a hurry now. 6:25 to go in the third quarter. Jacksonville outscoring the Gladiators 14-0 here in this frame. Goodman wide to the right, Jackson to the left, Taylor the motion man. He'll join Goodman over on the right side, Manley in the backfield. First and 10. Austin again looking long. Taylor, and it's batted, and is it intercepted by the Sharks? Yes, it is. Intercepted down near the goal line by Greg Reed. He had a small window of opportunity, but was able to come up with it. That is the third time in the game that Shane Austin's been intercepted. Reed got a hand on it. It bounced off Colin Taylor, off the boards, kept alive, and then pulled in by Reed. So again, some of those intricacies and nuances of the Arena Football League coming into play. And with 5:59 to go, here in the third, Jacksonville is looking to really step into the driver's seat if they can put together a scoring drive. Here's a completion from Grady to Hills out to about the 7 or 8 yard line. Drive that took off from the 1. 5:45 left here in the third quarter. And that'll bring up second down and 4 after a 6-yard pickup. Jacksonville out to their own 7-yard line. Gladiators have turned it over 5 times in the game. In motion to the left is Tiger Jones, and Grady this time looks right. Hills in the open field, 15-20 to midfield. Joe Hills into Gladiators territory, 15-yard line to the 10 before being tackled by Fred Shaw. 5:09 left here in the third. Jacksonville 33, Gladiators 21. A 33-yard pass from Grady to Hills. And you're starting to see this Jacksonville offense and some of the options it brings to the table coming into play. Tiger Jones, the AFL's leading receiver, coming into this game, and he's been the quietest of the 3. It's been Rodriguez and Hills doing the bulk of the damage, but you double up one of them, you're going to leave another all-arena talent open somewhere else. 3 receivers will be stacked on the left side. Rodriguez and Hills are there. And now, looks like we'll have a timeout call, perhaps. Jacksonville forced to burn one. Their head coach, Les Moss, not thrilled about it. Looked like there may have been a miscommunication in the way the teams were lining up out there. 4:35 to go, third quarter. And again, this is a big drive for both teams. Les Moss, been around the Arena Football League for a long time. Head coach for Jacksonville. Called his group over to get on the same page. The Gladiators defense, tall task for them. They're going to try and keep this thing within 2 scores if they can force a turnover on downs. Jacksonville, on the other hand, could make things really tough on the Gladiators if they're able to find the end zone again. Same setup as before the timeout. Rodriguez and Hills to the left. Jones in motion. Ross in the backfield. First and goal from the 10 for Jacksonville. Grady, a swing pass left side. Hills, and that one between his legs and off the boards far side. Incomplete pass. Second down and goal from the 10-yard line coming for the Jacksonville Sharks. 4:22 to go. Third quarter here at the Q. Grady, a little too low for Joe Hills. Grady 6 of 7 throwing the ball here in the second half. 61 yards and a touchdown for him. Remember, he looked a little out of sorts, as did the rest of the Jacksonville offense back in the first quarter. But they found a bit of a rhythm since, and you wonder if it goes back to that 4th down pass interference call against the Gladiators that really restored life for Jacksonville. 3 receivers left side, movement on the line, flags all over the place. Big Raymond McNeil on the line for Jacksonville was dumped over. And we'll have the penalty call.
Encroachment on the defense, number 56. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Willie McGinnis, guilty of the encroachment penalty. Tell you what, he came in hard too. Threw Raymond McNeil right over. However, That gives Jacksonville 5 yards. Only the third penalty of the game for the Gladiators. Jacksonville's been penalized 6 times. 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line. Jacksonville knocking on the door. 2 receivers left side for Grady. And again, this one won't even take off. We've got flags all over the place. 3:26 to go in the third.
Delay a game on the offense, number 4. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, Jacksonville's had a rough go on this drive before the snap has even taken place. They had to burn a timeout earlier on in the sequence, and now guilty of a delay of game. So back to the 10-yard line go the Sharks. 2nd and goal from the 10. 3:16 to go here in the quarter. Looks like we'll have 3 receivers on the left side. Jones in motion, Ross in the backfield. Grady looks left, over the middle, caught by Jones, and he's stalled out inside the 5-yard line, taken down by Hanna, but again a flag down. 3:03 left here in the third quarter of play. And we wait for the final verdict on this one. Lack of flow on this drive. Looks like Jacksonville's going to back up again. That's the early indicator.
Fraction, number 39 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
So a 5-yard penalty against Derek Ross, the fullback. So now 2nd and goal from the 15. Jacksonville making things tough on themselves, not getting on the same page, and not being able to keep things within the boundaries set by the rule book. 2 receivers left side, Tiger Jones in motion again. Grady over the middle, Jones up to make the grab, he's got it. In the end zone, touchdown Jacksonville, and that will make it 39-21 Sharks. Tiger Jones in the end zone. A little bit of a choreographed celebration. I'd imagine that won't sit well with the Gladiators. We don't have any sort of excessive celebration penalty called there, and it'll be Julian Roush on for the kick. Roush will try and make this a 19-point ball game. A wobbly snap, but Chappell gets it down. The kick is up, and it's stuck in the iron. Saw that happen last week against Orlando as well. No good. 1:56 to go here in the third quarter. Jacksonville continuing to pile it on, but it's been a rough one. Kicking the ball for the Sharks. Well, this is Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on My 43 WAB and 92.3 The Fan. Jacksonville has turned it around completely on the Gladiators here in the third quarter. It's now a 39-21 lead for the Sharks, as the Jacksonville Sharks ready to kick it away. A 9-yard touchdown pass from Shane Austin to Colin Taylor with 4:52 left in the second quarter gave the Gladiators a 21-13 lead, and that was the last time the Gladiators got on the scoreboard. So we've seen Jacksonville go on a 26-0 run since back in the late stages of the second quarter. They have that defensive stop to close out the first half. Now here in the third quarter, it's been all Jacksonville. Kickoff from Roush, out of play. It'll be good field position for the Gladiators to start this drive. 1:51 to go in this third quarter of play. Gladiators trying to stop the bleeding a little bit here.
Timeout on the field.
And with that,
media timeout.
We will step aside once again. Then we'll come back to the Gladiators offense back on the field. This is Cleveland Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on My 43 WAB and 92.3 The Fan.
Quicken Loans Arena, the Gladiators now trail 39-21. And before the game, I talked to defensive coordinator Ron James of the Gladiators, asked him about Tommy Grady because he coached him last year, and he told me we have to get him on the move. We can't let him set up in the pocket, let him get his rhythm. If he does that, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's in a rhythm right now, and it's a 20-0 run for Jacksonville.
Thanks very much, Kenny. And talking about the rhythm, the Jacksonville Sharks 4 touchdowns in their last 4 possessions as we've got flags all over the place to start off this Gladiators drive. 1st and 10 from their own 20 going right to left. The Gladiators, last 3 possessions, 2 interceptions and a fumble lost on a sack. Looks like a penalty against the Gladiators that'll back them up 5 yards. False start to call, and 100 seconds left here in this third quarter. Just hasn't gone the Gladiators' way here in this stanza. 39-21, Jacksonville in front. First down and 15. Goodman, wide to the right, Jackson to the left, Taylor the motion man with Manley again in the backfield. Taylor to the right, Austin looks over the middle, he's wrapped up and taken down hard. In on the sack for Jacksonville was Jerry Turner, all 6'3", 265 of Jerry Turner. Came in on Shane Austin, sacked him in the backfield. Gladiators forced back to their own 8-yard line. It's going to be second down and 22 for the Gladiators. Now we've seen Austin pressured more heavily in this game than in any other game really this season, and some of that was to be expected. Jacksonville has a very good defensive line. Coming into this one, they'd only allowed 3 sacks in 6 games. Austin, second and 22 this time, over the middle, caught by Amari Jackson. He's smothered immediately and taken down hard by the Jacksonville defensive back, Terrence Smith. Stopped around the 18-yard line or so. Looks like they give him the 19-yard line. So for the Gladiators, will be third down and 11, almost back to that original line of scrimmage out at the 20. Down to 15 seconds left here in the third quarter. It's been all Sharks here in the third, outscoring the Gladiators 20-0 here in this third quarter of play. Will they get one play off before the quarter ends? Austin under center. In motion Jackson. He'll drop back. The quarter is over. A pass to Jackson right side. Wrapped up, taken down just over midfield. So fourth down coming for the Gladiators to start the fourth quarter. They'll need about 4 yards to be able to get the first down. So a big play coming up. 4th and 4 for the Gladiators when the fourth quarter begins. That'll do it for 3. 39-21. Sharks out in front. This is Cleveland Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on My 43 WAB and 92.3 The Fan. Welcome back. Time for the fourth quarter. Jacksonville's taken a somewhat commanding 39-21 lead over the Gladiators, who will face 4th down and 4 from the 24-yard line of Jacksonville. Medical Mutual stats through 3 quarters. Jacksonville now 14 first downs to 13 for the Gladiators. The Sharks have outgained the Gladiators 213 to 189. Gladiators have turned the ball over 5 times. Jacksonville hasn't turned the ball over in this one. Gladiators had 1 defensive stop, forced a turnover on downs on the first Jacksonville drive of the game. But since then, we've seen the Sharks slowly get into the rhythm, and right now they're in one. 15 minutes on the clock, fourth quarter ready to go. 4th and 4 for the Gladiators from the Jacksonville 24, going left to right, 3 receivers left side. Austin looks over to the left, down the middle, goes long for Taylor, and does he have it? Flag down. He's tumbled out of bounds. He's got it. Touchdown Gladiators. Colin Taylor hangs on. Got away from Xavier Brewer's pressure, went up and over the boards, held on, and maybe that's what the Gladiators need here to get back on track in the fourth quarter. A gutsy play for Colin Taylor, tumbling out of bounds over the boards to make the play. (39-27) Jacksonville now. Here's Trevino on the extra point try. It's up and through. 20 seconds into the fourth, and the Gladiators have pulled back to within 11. 39-28 Jacksonville. Exactly what they needed to stop the bleeding early in the fourth quarter. So very much still in this thing now are the Gladiators. They had to come through on that 4th down, and a gutsy play call as well. They needed 4 yards. It was 4th and 4 from the Jacksonville 24. They went all the way and were able to get the touchdown. Now it looks like a little chatter off the bench. Amari Jackson and Greg Reed discussing certain matters. Let's go downstairs to Kenny Rhoda.
Interesting, I was standing near Coach Tunn during that change of quarter possession there when they flipped the field, and it was 4th and 4, Doug. A lot of people, I'm sure, thought they were just going to try and pick up the first down there to sustain and keep the drive alive. Instead, they went for it all, and I heard Coach Tunn telling the receivers and the quarterback during the timeout there, he said, look, we got to go. We got to get this. We got to go big, and they went big and got the touchdown, and hopefully this momentum they can carry it over now on defense.
And a big play, Kenny, down there, I'm sure you can feel it, but a play like that can get the crowd back into the game in a situation like this.
Absolutely, and it has. The crowd back on their feet, waving their towels, and we'll see what they do here on the kickoff. Don't be surprised if they go onside kick here, too.
Certainly would be interesting to see. They've gone onside one time in the game. Trevino has it teed up. Larachi Jackson down to our right to receive. Jacksonville on its toes. They're ready for the onside kick, it appears. Seems like ever since they had the one attempted earlier in the game, Jacksonville's been ready for it. Here's a line drive kick from Trevino. This one takes a bounce inside the 10, picked up on a one hop by Jackson. Out he comes, 15-yard line, 20, tripped up across the 20-yard line. Donnie Fletcher, Justin Hanna in there, and Larachi Jackson with a nice return on a one-hop kickoff that went right into his arms. A 4-play, 30-yard scoring drive for the Gladiators that took 1 minute 58 seconds. Colin Taylor had a 24-yard touchdown catch to get that most recent Gladiators touchdown. Kenny.
That onside kick that we were expecting or possibly expecting right there, they can read it at the point of attack there. And if they see the Sharks up close, they'll call it off. It looks like that's what they did there, guys.
First down and 10, 22-yard line, a dump off to Rodriguez to midfield. He's taken down hard here on the near side by Hanna. So a pickup of 4 or 5 on the play. 13:52 left here in the fourth. 39-28, Jacksonville in front. And so many times you see it in arena games, the team that's ahead in the fourth quarter, if it's a game that's tight like this one that could turn in a hurry, sometimes it feels like there's more pressure on the team with the lead than the team trying to come from behind. 13:32 left here in the fourth. 2 receivers right side. Joe Hill's in motion. Grady on 2nd and 6. A completion to Hills over the middle. Doesn't look like he got enough for the first down. He'll be very close. Maybe about a half a yard short. 3rd down and 1. Facing Jacksonville. 13:08 left in this fourth quarter. 39-28, Sharks on top of the Gladiators. Jacksonville's burned one timeout. Gladiators have all 3 of theirs. Jacksonville right to left in their white jerseys. Gladiators in black. All 3 receivers to the left. This one's a handoff to Ross, and he's not going to get much, but he breaks away. Maybe got the line of scrimmage, not much more than that. He's forced backwards, and it's going to bring up a big 4th down play. He loses 2, 4th down and 3 for Jacksonville. A big defensive stop for the Gladiators. Willie McGinnis got the first piece of him, Jeremy Richardson, and then Tim Cheatwood finished him off. So 4th down and 3 to go for Jacksonville. They're at the Gladiators 21. 2 receivers right side. Brady looks right, completes to Tiger Jones, and then he's angled to the sideboard's far side by Hanna at about the 12-yard line, maybe the 11. We've played 3 minutes here in the fourth, and Jacksonville moves the chains, a big 4th down conversion, and the Sharks came into this game here tonight on 4th down, 7th in the league, 45.5% in that department. Oddly enough, coming into this one, Jacksonville, 11th in the league, defending 4th down. The Gladiators last in the league defending 4th down. 3 receivers left side. Grady on 1st down, end zone, threw it way too high and incomplete for Tiger Jones. That one sailed out of play. 11:24 to go here in the fourth. 39-28, Sharks on top. 2nd down and 10 from the 12 coming for Jacksonville as they're knocking on the door of the red zone. Jacksonville is trying to stretch their 11-point lead. This was a 39-21 game at one point. That was when it was at its widest margin. 3 receivers left side, Jones in motion. Grady, 2nd and 10, throws left, Hills inside the 10 along the boards, makes the grab, and then he's stopped in his tracks by Fred Shaw and company. Joe Finnessy in there to help out. 10:38 left here in the fourth. And it looks like a pickup of 5, so 3rd down and 5 from the 7 coming for Jacksonville. A 2-score game. As Jacksonville's trying to extend it back out to a 3-score game. 2 receivers on the right. Rodriguez in motion. We've seen Grady go to him. Down close to the end zone like this. Grady, a pass, and it's broken up by Fred Shaw. Would have been daylight to the end zone had he been able to get in there and pick that one off. It was intended for Hill. Shaw read it like a book, knocked it away, but couldn't intercept the pass. And with that, 4th down and 5 from the 7 on the way for Jacksonville. Their second 4th down of the series. 9:46 to go here in the 4th. If anything, what Jacksonville's doing by going to 4th down on multiple occasions, they're cutting into what remains on this clock. 4th and 5. 2 receivers to the right. Jones, the lone man to the left. League's leading receiver. Grady looks, throws, and this one is incomplete, and the Gladiators have forced a turnover on downs. 9:21 left here in the 4th. Jacksonville leads by 11, and the Gladiators come up with a huge defensive stop. We'll be right back, and the Gladiators will have the ball. This is Cleveland Gladiators football, presented by Unique Home Solutions on My43 WAB and 92.3 The Fan. And back in with just over 8 minutes to go here in the 4th. The Gladiators down 11, 39-28 to Jacksonville. 2 straight completions. Dominic Goodman gets the Gladiators a 1st down. They move out to their own 21-yard line. Now 1st down and 10 for the Gladiators with 2 receivers lined up to the right. Dominic Goodman in motion to that left side where he's been dangerous on this drive. Austin throws long. Jackson open, up to make the grab to the end zone. Touchdown Gladiators. Amari Jackson. And the Gladiators have cut it to a 5-point ball game. A 29-yard touchdown pass, and the Gladiators are going to go for 2 to try and make this a 3-point ball game. So a big play here for the Gladiators to try and cut it to a field goals difference. Couple of big touchdowns for the Gladiators, coupled with a defensive stop, and at one point, things look to be really stacked against the Gladiators in this one. The Gladiators have fought back admirably, and now down 5, 6:50 to go in the 4th. Austin looks to the end zone. It's batted away. Flags are down. Terrence Smith got a hand in there, but we've got flags on the field. Will the Gladiators get another crack at it? Pass for Goodman, broken up. 39-34, Jacksonville.
Holding on the defense, number 10. That penalty is half the distance. Replay the try.
So they threw the ball on that try. Now they move up half the distance. Do they change the pace and keep it on the ground with this attempt? We'll wait and see. Gladiators had a big 2-point conversion last week with 2 seconds left in the game to ultimately tie the game and force overtime. That was a pass to Amari Jackson. He's lined up to the left. 2 receivers right side. Austin. Gladiators going for 2. A throw. Goodman up the big grab. He goes over the boards. Does he have it? Yes, he does. 2 points for the Gladiators. Dominic Goodman made the catch, went over the boards. The Gladiators to within 3. And the Gladiators have come back to once again make this one a very tight one. Still trailing. We'll be right back with more Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on My 43 WAB and 92.3 The Fan. 5 to go. Gladiators have cut it to 3, 39-36. Jacksonville. Stick around after every Gladiators home game for the post-game field party presented by University Hospital's Elyria Medical Center. Get player autographs or kick field goals on the field thanks to Hudak Dental. For details, visit clevelandgladiators.com. Kenny Rhoda down on the Gladiators bench. What do you have?
I'm here with Shane Austin. Shane, you guys fell behind by basically 3 scores. It seemed like you guys really picked up the tempo and started going for the home run ball.
Right, in arena football, man, it's all about how you finish. So we're really focused on just finishing this game, and we still got a lot of work to do.
The 2-point conversion here, you threw a laser over there to get him.
Yeah, he made a great catch, too. Great catch.
See who has this here. Doug, back up to you.
An onside kick try by the Gladiators and a pile-up around the 11-yard line. Who's going to have this one? They peel back the layers. We've got flags thrown now, perhaps some unsportsmanlike after the play. Justin Hanna of the Gladiators signaling they have it. You can usually read the body language, but they try to pull everybody away from the bottom to see who ultimately is going to have this one. We wait for the ruling. This place is going to erupt if the Gladiators have the football. Who's got it? They separate everyone. It's Gladiators football. Who comes out with it but Fred Shaw? Down 3 and the Gladiators have it. Now there's going to be a discussion.
It was recovered by number 10, White on Jacksonville. First down.
Now they rule Jacksonville ball. Fred Shaw came out of the pile with the football in his hand, and the fans here at the Q came to their feet, but they rule that Terrence Smith, a defensive back by trade, was the man who wound up with it. And the Gladiators can't believe it. Steve Tunn can't believe it. He wants an explanation. Our officials continue to have a conference. There may be penalties assessed out of everything.
After the play, we had personal foul. UNR, number 19, out of the kicking team. Personal foul. UNR, number 8, touching an official. Half the distance for goal, first down.
So 6:40 left in the fourth quarter. Jacksonville at 39-36 lead. They're going to have the ball very close to the end zone, just 3 yards away. We had a couple of personal fouls called against the Gladiators. So now Jacksonville down near the goal line, and Steve Tunn's going to throw out the red flag. He may look to challenge the ruling on the field.
Cleveland is challenging the ruling on the field that the ball was recovered by Jacksonville.
So now, what happens here, I think it's interesting. Steve Tunn throws the challenge flag. Derek Ross, Jacksonville, comes over to talk to Steve Tunn. Not quite sure what he would come over to talk to the Gladiators head coach about, but that conversation will come to an end. Meanwhile, the officials will go to take a look at the monitor. Now, the issue they may run into is because there was so much going on around the football, will there be enough replay evidence to overturn this thing? The original call is that Jacksonville winds up with the ball. We've got 6:33 left here in the fourth, 39-36 Jacksonville in front, and our officials peering over the flat screen monitor near corner down to my left from my vantage point here at the Q, and they continue to have a look at the onside kick try. Gladiators' second onside kick of the game. They failed to recover one back in the first half. And the initial ruling is that one didn't work out for them either. And our referee, members of our on-field officiating crew, going to make sure they do their due diligence here to get the right call. It's going to be a big call either way. The Gladiators defense on the field ready to go, but we wait to see if that's indeed going to be the situation. We have a look from our angle, but again, you look at it from here and so much going on that you wonder if there's enough to overturn it. That ball can be tough to locate once it's in a pile like that. Kenny Rhoda, did you have a good vantage point on that one?
I did not, but right now Steve Tunn is talking with one of the officials trying to plead his case as to why he thinks it should be Cleveland football, and he continues to discuss in a very loud manner why he believes it should be Gladiators football. And on top of all that, 2 penalties were called against the Gladiators. One on the kicker. Trevino got called for a personal foul, and also on Shaw for bumping an official. So if it's not Gladiators football, I'm walking down here right now, they're going to be 3 yards away from the end zone. So the defense is going to be called upon big time if they don't get this ball back. So the officials right now, as I look over in the corner, they're still reviewing it on the big screen TV they have in the corner here at Quicken Loans Arena. It's going to be tough to see amongst that pile of players if indeed Shaw came up with the football and then it was taken away from him. So we'll wait to see once they come out of that little huddle over there. And finally, Steve Tunn walks away from the official. He has had his say.
Well, they're taking a long look at this one, as they should, and arena football is such a game of momentum. If the Gladiators were to wind up with the ball, it would be adding to the momentum that they've already built here recently with a couple of touchdowns in a row. If Jacksonville gets this ball, well, then it would be their way of potentially stopping the Gladiators' momentum. It looks like we've come to a verdict now.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Jacksonville.
Well, the fans don't like that one. They rule that it will indeed be Jacksonville's ball, and perhaps there just wasn't enough evidence to overturn anything or show the officials that the decision should be otherwise. Kenny Rhoda.
Yeah, down here on the bench, and I just talked with head coach Steve Tunn. I asked him why he challenged it. He said, our guy came away with the football, but the officials said that the other team, the Sharks, actually had the ball and then it was taken away. But Steve Tunn obviously disagrees. The fans do as well. Now it's going to be up to the defense to have a goal line stand here.
Well, the fans didn't like that call. They said that Terrence Smith wound up with it, even though, as you allude to, Kenny, the man that we saw come out of the pile with the football and the building erupted when he did, it was Fred Shaw who came out from the bottom of the pile with the ball. So now the Gladiators down 3, Jacksonville 3 yards from the end zone, and it was a good play to challenge because the stage of the game we're at right now. Simply put, anything you can do here in the late stages in a one-score ball game. Now, 2 receivers left side. First and goal from the 3, Grady with Ross in the backfield, and he's going to hand it off to Ross, and he bounces off a tackle, goes right, touchdown Jacksonville. Back to a 9-point ball game. 45-36 the score, Jacksonville in front. Ross showed some agility that time, adjusted on the fly. Went up the middle, bounced off a blocker, got away from James Bryan off the D-line, playing in his first game as Gladiator, and was able to skip into the end zone. So Jacksonville trying to extend it to a 10-point ball game once again, inside 6 minutes to go here in the 4th. They're taking their time. Julian Roush on for the extra point try. 5 on the play clock. Chappell gets the ball down, and the kick from Roush is up and through. So with that, 46-36 Jacksonville in front of the Gladiators, and we will step aside. Gladiators with some work to do when we come back. Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on My 43 WAB and 92.3 The Fan. Jacksonville up 10, 46-36. Bring your group of 10 or more to the queue to experience Gladiators football. Group tickets start at only $10 a game and include exclusive perks. For details, 216-420-2500 or visit clevelandgladiators.com. Gladiators football is presented by Unique Home Solutions. Shane Austin and company set to come back on the field here shortly after the Gladiators get the ball. His recent stat line, we'll talk about that in a moment here, is The kickoff off the far netting. Amari Jackson has a little problem handling it. He's back in his own end zone, tries to escape, and he's taken down back in the end zone. So the Gladiators will have a long field ahead of them here. 5:32 left in the fourth. 10-point game. Gladiators trailing. Shane Austin has completed his last 6 passes for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns so far in the game. Austin 18-28, 248 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 picks. Tommy Grady 19-29, 189 yards, 4 touchdowns. He has not been intercepted. So that's a bit of the difference in the game so far, the turnovers. 5:20 to go, fourth quarter. Jacksonville 46, Gladiators 36. First and 10 for the Gladiators from their own 3, going left to right. Austin, 2 receivers right. Pumps, looks to the middle, looks right then for Goodman. Completes the pass, and Goodman out to about the 18-yard line before being brought down by the defensive back, Greg Reed of Jacksonville. 4:56 to go here in the fourth. Still a lot of time to go here for the Gladiators, down 10. A lot can happen in nearly 5 minutes of time in an arena football game. First and 10 for the Gladiators from their own 18. 2 receivers left. Looks like it's going to be 3 as Amari Jackson heads over. Shane Austin throws sharply left for Goodman. Stumbled a bit, stays on his feet, then picks up and up for the first down in the catch and run play up the left side into Jacksonville territory. Stopped around the 21. An 11-yard pickup, and it'll be first down and 10 for the Cleveland Gladiators with 4:14 to go here in the fourth. Gladiators down 10. Goodman lined up wide to the right this time. Austin takes a look over the middle, goes to Goodman. This one, though, not near anybody. There may have been a miscommunication between the quarterback, Shane Austin, and the receiver, Dominic Goodman there. It's an incomplete pass, second down and 10 coming. For the Gladiators, Dominic Goodman has 7 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown. 2 touchdowns apiece for Amari Jackson and Colin Taylor. 3:40 left in the fourth. Second down, 10 to go. Gladiators on the Jacksonville 21, down 10 points. Line to the right again is Goodman. Amari Jackson heads in motion. All 3 Gladiators receivers on the right side. Austin looks to the end zone again for Amari Jackson. Up to make the grab. He's got it. Touchdown Gladiators. Amari Jackson went up and over Greg Reed, made the catch, and the Gladiators are back to within 4. And that's the quarterback, Shane Austin, knowing exactly where to put the football for Amari Jackson, who stands 6'4". So it's now a 46-42 lead for the Sharks with 2:49 to play. Here's the extra point try. Trevino kicks it right through, and that's going to once again make this a 3-point ball game. 2:45 left in the fourth quarter. 46-43 Jacksonville in front, but the Gladiators continue to keep this thing close. A little bit of what we saw last week when Orlando seemed to have control of the game late, but the Gladiators would not go away and ultimately forced overtime. We'll see if they can duplicate some of their fourth quarter success from last week here this evening. And going back to last season, we reference it a lot, but the Gladiators last season seemed to thrive in situations like this. Shane Austin, 9 of his last 10 for 132 yards and 3 touchdowns. That last drive, a 4-play, 47-yard drive that took 1 minute, 56 seconds, capped off by a 21-yard touchdown pass to Amari Jackson. Slow motion replay, and Amari Jackson had to time that out perfectly when to go upstairs, but boy, did he ever go up top. No chance for Greg Reed when he's dealing with a guy like Amari Jackson in a situation like that. Jackson has 9 catches for 135 yards and 3 touchdowns, so another big game for him. Kenny and Shane Austin talked earlier in the game about the chemistry building between the quarterback and Amari Jackson. 46-43, Jacksonville in front. Gladiators ready to kick it away. We'll see if they go the onside route again. Jacksonville seems like they're prepared for it now. They've seen the Gladiators attempt the onside kick twice. 2 tries with the onside kick for the Gladiators, once in the first half, once here in the fourth quarter, and hasn't worked out for them yet. So Trevino has it teed up at the goal line. The deep man is Larachi Jackson. Haven't heard much from him in a while down there to return for Jacksonville. 2:45 to go in the fourth. Here's Trevino. Onside kick try. Bounces high in the air. And do the Gladiators have it? It's Jacksonville ball. That one went off the wall, and you can't field it off the wall if you're the team trying to recover. So it's Jacksonville ball once again, close to the end zone. It'll be first and goal from the 9 for Jacksonville. Tommy Grady, 19-29, 189 yards, 4 touchdowns. Again, has not been picked off. That turnover battle in this one, the Gladiators have turned it over 5 times. The fact that they're within 3 points right now really says something about the resiliency of this Gladiators football team. It's become one of the calling cards of the Gladiators the last couple of years. They're always right there. They never go away, no matter what the circumstances are. 3 receivers right side. Jacksonville needs 9 for a touchdown. Grady pumps, throws left, over the head of Preche Rodriguez, and incomplete off the end wall. 2:08 left here in the fourth. 46-43 Sharks. A defensive stand for the Gladiators would totally turn the momentum in the Gladiators' favor. Shows you how slim the margin for error is for each team in a situation like this. We're into the final 2 minutes. Jacksonville clinging to a 3-point lead. Tiger Jones in motion. Gladiators done a good job against him tonight. Ross in the backfield. Grady looks right, completed to Hills inside the 8-yard line or so, and taken down. Pickup of a couple. It's going to be third and goal for Jacksonville. 1:25 left here in the fourth, and it looks like the Sharks may have just called a timeout. Les Moss and Tommy Grady talking things over. And during the timeout, down to field level, Kenny Rhoda.
Timeout there called by the Gladiators. Steve Tunn running over, making sure the official got the timeout here. They'll have 1 timeout remaining after this, and then you've got the 1-minute warning too. So still plenty of time. The key here, though, is getting a stop on this series. And throughout the game, they've had trouble with stops on 4th down. They've had opportunities to get the ball back, and they have failed to do so. So 2 downs yet to go here, but this is basically the game right here. They need to get a stop on defense and then get going the other way.
Gladiators looking for the defense to stand tall once again, and C.J. Cobb remarked on that when he talked to Kenny back at the end of the first half, how good the defense had been in this game. And talk about the turnover battle in this one. The Gladiators, 5 turnovers, none for Jacksonville, and even though they've had a couple turnovers on downs, Jacksonville hasn't fumbled or intercepted in the game. 3 receivers left side. Grady lofts it, end zone, flags down. This is going to go against Donnie Fletcher. May have taken a liberty down there against Preche Rodriguez, the bigger wide receiver for Jacksonville. And we'll await the call. Fletcher may have gone in with a bit much against Rodriguez, the veteran. They've gone to Rodriguez quite a bit in the red zone. And it looks like we've come to our decision.
You have 2 fouls on the play. Pass interference. Penalties declined. Personal foul. Defense, number 49, hands to the face. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Well, they get Tim Cheatwood for the hands to the face penalty, and that's the one that Jacksonville ends up accepting. And it's going to be a half the distance penalty and an automatic first down, and that makes things really tough for the Gladiators right now, because not only does it give new life to Jacksonville, they have a first down, they get closer to the end zone, but it also takes up some more time, valuable time at this point. We may run it right down to the 1-minute warning here. 46-43, Jacksonville on top of the Gladiators, and we've come to our 1-minute warning. So, Gladiators need a big final minute. They need the defense to stand tall immediately. We'll see if they can when we come back. Gladiators football presented by Unique Home Solutions on My 43 WAB and 92.3 The Fan.
By the Center for Orthopedics, your personal connection to advanced care. By Subway, the crunch is back. Get your Fritos Chicken Enchilada Sub now at Subway. By University Hospital's Elyria Medical Center. By ABC Equipment Rental, your Cleveland home for Kubota construction equipment. By NovaCare, the exclusive and official sports rehabilitation provider of the Cleveland Gladiators. And by Unique Home Solutions, the presenting partner of your Cleveland Gladiators.
1 minute to go here in the fourth quarter. Gladiators down 3, 46-43 to the Jacksonville Sharks. And it's going to be first and goal from the 4-yard line for Jacksonville. Gladiators asking for their defense to come up with a big stop here late in the ball game. However, Jacksonville has really found their rhythm as this thing's gone along. They've been productive in the red zone really ever since they were stopped on their first drive of the game on the goal line. They've been able to come up with solutions that work as this game's gone along. Now a handoff to Ross, barrels ahead, didn't get enough for the touchdown, may have gotten his team to the 1-yard line though. Pickup of maybe 3 as Ross just leaned ahead. Chews up a few seconds, 57.6 on the clock, and the Gladiators use a timeout. Derek Ross brings a dimension that a lot of teams don't have in arena football. He is the best ball carrier, best fullback in the league, and what really is a passing league first and foremost. But we've seen Ross at times in this game really carry a heavy load for his team. Helped set up a touchdown. He scored a couple of touchdowns. He was stopped, though, on the goal line on Jacksonville's first drive. Gladiators trying to do that again. Second down and goal from the 1. Now it's going to be Grady trying to plow ahead himself, but we've got flags all over the place. He certainly didn't get through the line. And the markers thrown, and the helmet knocked off Grady in that little sequence. As they pull everybody back, and with 54.4 seconds left here in the fourth quarter, we wait for the ruling.
Second neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 49. Half the distance is the goal. Still first down. Play will start on the ready.
So Cheatwood, the guilty party. 54.4 seconds left in the fourth. And the clock will roll. Gladiators out of timeouts. Jacksonville's got 2. Jacksonville a 46-43 advantage. Gladiators need a defensive stop. That's what it's come down to. Kenny said it a moment ago, if Jacksonville scores here, it could pretty much close it out. Flags thrown. Looks like they ran the play clock all the way down, so it'll be a delay of game. It's going to be first down, and goal from the 1 is...
Delay of game on the offense, number 4. 5-yard penalty.
That penalty.
Still second down.
Or second down, rather. It'll be second and goal from the 6-yard line now as they get things sorted out. 25.3 seconds on the clock. I wonder if they'll keep it on the ground or if they'll throw it here. We've seen crazier things than the Gladiators turning the tables on a situation like this. They keep it on the ground. And the clock will run. Did he get the positive yards? Yes, he did. It would appear. And that is going to do it. 46-43. Jacksonville holds on to knock off the Gladiators here at the Q. The Gladiators fall to 4-3 on the season. Jacksonville is now 2-5. The final horn sounds, and Jacksonville's come out of here with the win tonight. Gladiators, heck of a job by them late to battle back and get this thing back to within 3 points on multiple occasions, but just couldn't get over that hump and get back up to tying the game. So 46-43, the final score. Jacksonville knocks off the Gladiators tonight. The Gladiators are now 4-3 on the season, and their 2-game win streak comes to a close. So that does it for this one here tonight. The Gladiators fall 46-43, and well, it was a hard-fought game, back and forth between the Gladiators and Jacksonville. The Gladiators led at half by a 21-19 score. Jacksonville was the better team in the second half of this one. As we go down to field level, Kenny Rhoda, what'd you take away from that late stage of the fourth quarter?
Well, as you look at this game, they're up 21-19 at halftime, and they had a chance to have a bigger lead at halftime. They didn't score right at the end of the half there. That hurt because Jacksonville got the ball to start the second half. They went on that 20-0 run, got the lead, and never relinquished it. Turnovers, penalties, missed opportunities will be, when they watch the film on this, they'll see that that's what cost them this football game. Gallant effort to try and come back, almost got the onside kick. They didn't get the call, and then Jacksonville just ran the clock out right there. So you can't turn it over, 5 times, Doug, I think, in this game. Have some key penalties on fourth downs to keep a drive alive for the opposition. So they see their 2-game winning streak come to an end here tonight at Quicken Loans Arena.
And they don't get that Florida sweep. They had the win against Tampa Bay a couple of weeks ago, knocked off Orlando last week. Can't get Jacksonville here in this one. Talk about key penalties, fourth down, to go back to the first half. That penalty on fourth down called against Justin Hanna that really gave Jacksonville some new life on a drive. You could probably point to that as the turning point in the football game, because up until that point, Jacksonville hadn't gotten into that offensive rhythm, and we heard that term thrown around quite a bit, that rhythm. That's what they needed to get into if they were going to have any success. It was the Gladiators' penalties in the first half that seemed to give them some of that rhythm.
And it was a smart call, too. You got 4th and long, you're deep in your own territory, you throw it down the field, you hope for either a big catch and a touchdown or maybe a pass interference penalty, and that's exactly what they got to keep the drive alive, and that seemed to change the momentum. But the Gladiators really gave this one away, in my opinion, with the turnovers and the penalties. Credit Jacksonville, yes, they came away with the win. They came in here, they hadn't won on the road all season. They're 1-5, so they get the W, but it was an early Christmas present for Jacksonville here tonight from the Gladiators.
Valiant effort for the Gladiators to try and come back, but they weren't able to tie this thing up. Jacksonville wins 46-43. Gladiators 4-3 now on the season. Want to thank all of you for joining us on My 43 WUAB. Keep it locked on the radio side. More to come as we wrap it up on radio. Folks, again, want to thank all of you for tuning in this evening on My 43. Gladiators fall in this one. Also want to thank our outstanding crew. For Kenny Rhoda downstairs, I'm Doug Plagens. Once again, thanks for watching. Keep it locked on 92.3 to fan. More to come on 92.3. But on the TV side, that'll do it for us. Gladiators fall at the Q, 46-43.